home games. Thank you for joining us. That is Bubba O'Neill from CHCH TV Sports beside me on the top row. Below him, that is Steve Milton from the Hamilton Spectator, sports columnist. Beside him, Rick Zamperin from 900 CHML Radio. I'm Scott Radley from the Hamilton Spectator and 900 CHML. It is time for the 1 minute debate. We do this once a week here on the show. The 1 minute debate goes like this. I'm going to give these guys a topic. They don't really know the topic. They're going to have 1 minute thinking quickly on their feet. They're going to have 1 minute to make a case for whatever it is that they think is the right answer. And today, a loop is being thrown at you guys. And Rick, we're going to go to you first. So let the brain cells begin pumping right away. Who is the greatest fictional athlete of all time? A character from TV or movies or books, I guess. You could have Mighty Casey if you really want something like that. Who is the greatest fictional athlete of all time? You have 1 minute to make your case. Rick Zamperin, 3, 2, 1, begin.
All right. Well, how can it not be? I mean, we don't even have to have a debate. I mean, this is over right here. How can it not be the Italian stallion, Rocky Balboa? I mean, listen, this guy came from nowhere, absolutely nowhere, in the streets of Philadelphia to the highest pinnacle of the boxing world and did so fantastically well, spectacularly well, so much so, he's got a real-life statue in the city. Rocky Balboa, in his first go-round with Apollo Creed, he came out of nowhere and at least earned a draw and earned a lot of respect, and then beat him in his second go-round for the championship of the world. And then, Clubber Lang came around and he clubbed him after losing his manager, but he came back and beat him. And then he goes to Russia and beats, one of the most hyped up steroid laden athletes of all time, and wins the title again, and represents the United States of America as the golden boy that he is. Rocky Balboa, unquestionably the greatest fictional athlete of all time.
And still fighting at like 70 years old now in various iterations of the Rocky movie.
He's got it.
Is he a manager now?
Oh, he might be, but he's probably Rocky 27 will come out and it'll be him facing Rambo. It'll be special Hollywood graphics that will
can't wait.
Rocky is a great one. I mean, he won the heavyweight championship like 47 times as a guy who probably is a middleweight at best.
Just kept coming back.
And he fought Thunder Lips. Remember Hulk Hogan in his first movie role, threw him out of the ring. So Rocky 3, there you go. All right, let's go to Steve Milton next. Steve has the challenge of coming up with his choice of the greatest fictional athlete of all time. There is a large field to draw from, which probably makes this more difficult. Steve, who is the greatest fictional athlete of all time? 3, 2, 1, begin.
Scott, there's some great fictional athletes in baseball and golf because they're the best ones to write about. Boxing too, which is why Rocky. I would have put Rocky probably at the top, but maybe I'll argue for Roy Hobbs in The Natural for two reasons. The movie was really, really, really good, and the suggestiveness of what his past was and all of those kinds of things. And it was a really good drama, and the acting was incredible, of course. But the book was incredible. The book upon which was made by a tremendous author too, Malamud, and it had all kinds of wonderful things in there. And as I said, baseball is theater of the mind on the radio, which is why it's the best radio sport. And so it's a theater of the mind in fiction as well. And so this one had a cross thing. It was not only a movie, but it was also a very successful book by a tremendous author, Roy Hobbs, The Natural.
It's a great one. It's a great one. One of the great last scenes of any movie.
Fantastic.
That's out there with the lights and the music and everything else. And Boy Wonder. Boy Wonder or Wonder Boy? Wonder Boy.
Wonder Boy.
Yes, Bat, yeah.
Yeah, no, that is a great one. Those are both had been ones that I had thought that would be on the list. All right, Bubba. Best fictional athlete of all time. 3, 2, 1. Who is it?
My mind really escapes me right now because I'm getting old and gray. But I will lean towards the hockey movie Slapshot And if they can be a brotherhood, let's go to the Hanson brothers. Never have we seen three men. Were they triplets? I'm not even sure. But I know they wore glasses kind of like we all are. And they were rough and they were tough and they dominated a team. They needed to be harnessed somewhat because they just were so out of control. But never have we seen a character in the sport of hockey. I mean, they were great in the movie, but they were irrelevant for a matter of 40 years. So anyone that can be relevant for 40 years in the National Hockey League, or at least I guess what was made to be the American Hockey League, is someone that we continue to talk about well into the 2000s. So they didn't say much. They acted like fools on the ice. They were tough to play against. Obviously, they did have some talent, but again, they were the basis, at least the major part of a fictional hockey movie that we still talk about 45 years later. So I'll go with the Hanson brothers. They were some weird dudes, but they were fun.
There were a lot of great characters in that movie, wasn't there?
Yeah.
I mean, Newman was fantastic. And how about just that little one moment where the player goes to the penalty box and says, "You feel shame." It's just incredible. It was the East Coast League, by the way, fictionally.
Yes.
The Johnstown Jets, and was based on actually Connie Madigan, probably.
One of the most quotable and quoted movies ever.
Yeah.
Paul Newman. Can you believe Paul Newman did a hockey movie?
He was great.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
Yep. All right. You know what? That again, a great one. And you're right, Steve. You could have picked about 5 guys out of there. Could have been Paul Newman. It could have been Killer Carlson. Dave's a killer.
Probably had it right picking the brothers.
So many, and I don't know if they still do, but for a long time there, every hockey player watched that movie over and over and over. I don't know if the OHL guys, or if it's, sensitivity training now, you're not allowed to watch that stuff on the bus. I'm not sure, because it is a little raw, but anyway. All right. Greatest fictional athlete of all time. I'm going along the lines of what Bubba said, but sort of, because he talked about 3 guys. I'm talking about 1 guy in 3. Greatest fictional athlete of all time is Forrest Gump. All right? He was an all-American football player that won a national championship at Alabama. He was a national Olympic ping pong table tennis player who got to the White House to meet the president because of that. And then he started the running craze and ran all over the place for the longest time. 3 sports. Bo Jackson has nothing on Forrest Gump. Deion Sanders has nothing on Forrest Gump. They only did 2 sports well. He was a star in 3 different sports and kind of didn't even realize he was good at it, which makes him even more compelling. I mean, he kind of did, but he was one of those guys that he's like, what's his name? Bobby Boucher in The Water Boy. Didn't even realize what he was doing. It was just, why do we like these guys? The Hanson brothers, a little touched, and Forrest Gump, a little bit different. I don't know. I'm going with Forrest Gump, though, as the greatest athlete of all time. Fictional athlete of all, maybe greatest athlete, period, of all time.
Yeah. There's a lot of great, when we come to think about this topic, there's incredible number. I'm not a big sports movie guy at all. But when you look at Major League and some of the moments in that, the Wild Thing, or even a League of Their Own with what was that catcher's name that Gene Davis played, Dottie something. I mean, that was incredible because of the social, and it was based on a semi-reality as well.
Who was Nuke DeLuche?
Nuke LaLoosh, Tim Robbins from
that was Bull Durham.
Bull Durham, yeah, and
Crash Davis.
Slowly. What? De
Yeah,
Niro,
Crash Davis, the catcher, yeah.
Crash Davis, and that. I mean, there's a few, So even that one that's been out lately called Goon, it's an interesting, look. He's not one of the great characters by any means, but
I'm just so thrilled and so relieved that none of you said Rob Lowe in Youngblood, who could not.
Oh, I was close. I was close.
Sports movies should be better, don't you think? Though, because there's already ready-made drama. Every single game, every single season has a beginning, middle, end story.
Thank goodness for Cynthia Gibbs. She saved that movie.
Totally.
But despite everything
we
we've
do
said,
this all the time, folks. We do home games all the time. We would love for you to subscribe down below, but more importantly, we would love it if you would comment down below. Who is your greatest fictional athlete ever? Let us know. We want to know. We want to hear from you. We'll talk to you soon.